you don't use any of these excuses. Take a look.
The craziest excuse I've ever heard was a person stated that he was on his way to a hospital to pick up some organs, and I ended up giving him a citation for speeding anyway because he had a lunchbox and not the correct carrier.
One night I stopped the car. I was going about close to 40 miles over the speed limit. I walked up to the vehicle and I asked him what his hurry was, and he looked at me and he said, "Officer, my wife's having a baby." And I looked into the car and there was his wife and she was giving birth. So, needless to say, nobody got a ticket that night.
And then later on, while we were doing the paperwork, she said, "You guys would be a lot nicer to me if I had a donut in my hand."
They were using a bitter cold as an excuse to try to warm up their car, and they thought the faster they went, the warmer their car would get. And they got the ticket anyway.
We can all relate to that sinking feeling you get when you hear the police siren behind you on the highway. Well, we sent our cameras out to Racine, Wisconsin to see how people handle themselves when they were pulled over by the police. Take a look.
The most common excuse for speeding that I hear is that I didn't know I was going that fast.
Your citation for speeding excess of posted limits. Posted limit here is 30. They had you doing 71. That's 41 miles an hour over the speed limit.
These guys were with us somewhere, and we were racing with this cop.
No, it's not. There's a citation for speeding. Laser had you doing 50. It's a 30 here. It's 20 over.
Well, I knew I was speeding. You know, the music's going good, and you know, I just kept cruising along. So.
I'm asking you a question. You know why you're being stopped? You're clocked on the radar doing 42 and a 30.
I saw those two cops sitting there and have no clue why. I mean, I got a radar detector, but he must have had laser. I wasn't paying attention to my speed. I mean, I speed all the time anyway, but...
I'm going to let her stew a few minutes, thinking that she might get a ticket. I'm going to let you off with a verbal warning tonight.
It's not working. $61 ticket just to go a little bit faster and get there a little quicker.
Well, police say there's a proper way to respond if you're stopped by the police on a moving violation. See if you can guess the correct answer here. Miss 71 miles per hour in a 30-mile zone. Do you get out your driver's license and registration? Pray. Do you get out of the car? Do you keep both hands on the steering wheel or dashboard? Which one, D? D. Of course it's D. And why D? Because they'll shoot you?
Because they'll see you.
Why is D the correct answer?
We don't want any unnecessary movement in the vehicle when we approach it.
Yeah, you don't want any unnecessary movement.
Because we don't know who they are.
Yeah. You saw my first guest on tape being pulled over by Racine police officers Mark Sorensen and Tim Ketting. 18-year-old Angela Kruger and her friends were racing each other when she got pulled over for doing 71 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit. And this is Terry Bodie. Terry's been driving around for years with a broken speedometer. Where's Terry? Terry, please. I hear you broke it yourself as an excuse in case you're ever pulled over for speeding. Is that true?
Yeah.
That little gig's up right now, right? That little gig's up right now. How did you break it?
Just taking apart the dash, and it's just a pin move. You can change the pin placement on it. It's
So when you're
easy to
speeding,
do.
how often has that excuse worked for you in the
This
past?
is the first time I got pulled over in about 5 years for speeding, so I haven't had to use it so far.
Really? Well, I'm just telling you, don't ever try to use that excuse again. Because your face is kind of known. Why were you speeding, Angela?
We were racing. There was another car next to us, and we didn't even know who they were, and they just started speeding up and I think passing us up and looking into the car, and I just started speeding.
So you bought into that old game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't your mother tell you better?
Yeah.
And when your mother found out, what did you say, Mother?
I just couldn't believe it.
You couldn't believe it?
71, oh, yeah.
71? You could have hurt yourself and somebody.
I know.
You know. So when's the next time you're going to do it again?
Never.
Uh-huh. Mark and Tim, did the speeders follow proper procedure when you stopped them?
Well, most everybody that I stopped that night did, except one person. He wanted to jump out of the car right away. Mm-hmm. As soon as I told him to get back in the car, he went right back in the car and waited for me to get.
So you should never jump out of the car.